Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Celeste and today we're going to be turning this family of reckless animals into humans. I started watching The Amazing World of Gumball a long time ago and it's genuinely one of my favorite shows, mostly because of its, darker adult humor. It was one of the only cartoons my sister would watch with me because of the comedy and how adult and dark the humor was. It was also weirdly realistic for a show about animals, ice creams, and other weird stuff. Without further delay, let's get started with Gumball. First of all, making a pose for him was very hard because Gumball Watterson is so expressive and has a lot of characteristics that I honestly didn't know which one to depict. Because sometimes it can be very funny, sometimes it can be very optimistic, sometimes it can be very nice, sometimes it can be very romantic. It has a whole lot of emotional spectrum, which is good for a realistic character, but for someone I'm redesigning, I don't know which one to depict. But I eventually settled on a pose where he has his arms crossed and he's standing, he's looking at someone. I don't really know who he's looking at, but he's looking at someone. And for his haircut, I gave him a short wolf cut because I think Gumball is just pretentious and he's going to want to do what the cool kids are doing. And as we all know, wolf cuts are kind of the main hairstyle for cool kids right now. I contemplated on giving him a big vest, but I decided to add an inner shirt. I should probably mention that I aged him up a bit, so he's around 19 years. He just got into college. I gave him big baggy jean joggers because I wanted something unique for him. His shoes aren't anything special. I just gave him an Air Force. I think that's what they are called. When picking colors, I picked directly from his color palette, but then I changed it around a bit to match my personal vision. On the topic of color and color selection, because I couldn't make his skin blue, obviously, I opted for his hair and jeans. But I did keep the beige, the beige brown color for his vest and inner shirt. Then I rendered everything and used a texture brush to add more details to his clothes and shoes. At some point I decided to give him a chain, like a little belt chain to have around his waist because the design was looking a little bit too, boring, so I wanted to add something. I made his chain gold, not silver, for a bit more contrast and balancing color values. And by the way, I headcanon Gumball as Asian because I believe Nicole is Asian and Richard is white. And I also made sure to give him brown eyes instead of blue because I really want to avoid the blue-eyed Asian trope that a lot of Asian cartoon characters have in cartoons. So I made his eyes brown. And that is all for Gumball. We're done with him. Now for the sweet lovable Darwin, I already had a clear idea for him. All I had to do was put it down. He was originally going to be wearing long jeans, but I decided to give him some jean cargo shorts because I think older Darwin is super chill. I obviously made Darwin black because Darwin is black, everybody knows that Darwin is black. So yeah, I gave him a gray tank top. I also gave him a varsity jacket because I like to think he grew up to be an athlete of some sort. I gave him a high top sneaker to reference his socks, boots, whatever this is. I obviously gave him orange dreads and I put his hair in a ponytail to kind of reference his fins and the silhouette of his fins. I also made sure to add some extra pockets in his cargo shorts because I think he carry a lot of things and a lot of little things bandages and stuff. I also added a little simple necklace to finish the look. If you zoom in closely, you'll see that I gave him dimples to emphasize his cuteness. The E on his jacket represents Elmo because I'm assuming they went to Elmo University or college. And just like with Gumball, I added texture to his clothes while rendering, and that's it. just like with Darwin. And Ais was also very easy to draw. I initially wanted to keep her arms behind her back in like a cute pose, but that doesn't seem like what she would do. Like she doesn't seem the kind of person to unironically pose like that. I made sure to give her two large pigtails to reference her rabbit's ears. I also put her in a vest because I think she's a little bit older. She's like 11 years old, so I don't think she's going to be wearing a little dress anymore. I think she's going to, her fashion sense is going to be a little bit more elevated. I also gave her a dark pleated skirt to match with the vest and the shirts to give off more of an academic vibe. And to keep up with the academic vibe, I also gave her a transparent host. She's technically still in high school, but because she's so smart, she's about to graduate and join her siblings in college next year. I like to think that she's the female version of Sheldon. There's not really anything much to say about her. She's done. She's also Asian, just like Gumbo, but she inherited more of her father's traits, like her strawberry pink hair, yeah, strawberry blonde, yeah. So and the skin, the pink skin. So yeah, I think she inherited more of her father's genes than Gumbo. Nicole Watterson, the most stressed out mother in fiction. I was initially going to, draw her looking worked to the bone and, worked out and tired. But I realized that with the kids gone, and all grown up, I like to think that she's more chill. I put her in a top inspired by, her young look, the pink top that she wore when she was, a young mom. I also gave her a nice little cup of coffee and I added an inner shirt because I didn't want her to catch a felon. I also put her hair up and gave her a few strands falling to her face. I followed the same rule as Gumbo with the distribution of colors, with giving her blue hair and blue pants while keeping her skin color, normal. And for her shoe, I didn't really do anything too special for her shoe. I just gave her dark blue white shoes, and yeah. Oh, I also think she got a promotion at some point in the story. She's no longer working as like an employee, an unpaid employee. I feel like she has a job as a higher up in a higher company. Yeah, and that's it for Nicole Watson, best character in the entire show. Honestly, my favorite character. Yeah. Now for Richard, I just threw a top and trousers on him with a nice pair of loafers. I gave him a donut, obviously, and a remote. He's already taken a bite though. Now with all the wattersons, I feel like Richard was the one that I took the less creative liberty with. He's basically the same character he is in the show. I just made him human. Like his skin color is literally almost the same color. Let's not forget that I made him bald. Yes, no hair. There was literally an entire episode dedicated to him balding and losing his hair. I also gave him a little mustache to reference his bunny whiskers. And yeah, I didn't really do anything special for this guy. Just so he's a middle-aged man. I feel like at this point in the drawing phase, I just lost my creativity and he's a middle-aged man. Now, before I show you the rest of the family standing together, I just wanted to bring your attention to the background. For each and every one of the backgrounds, I had to go on Pinterest and make a little collage of them, like an aesthetic collage. As you can see, for Gumbo's own, I just put a lot of, cats and just like vibes and stuff. The blue theme. For Darwin, it has more like to do with fishes and just like all of their vibes, and yeah, because I didn't want the background to just be them standing in a void, so I just wanted to add a little bit more character and fun to it. And that's all. This is all of them standing together as a family. And yeah, we're done with the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the YouTube things. Tell me which one you like the most. Leave a comment telling me the design that you like the most. This for Gumbo, this for Anahis, this one for Darwin, this for Nicole, and this last one for Richard, their dad. Also, don't forget to check out my other socials and sign up as a Patreon if you're willing and able. And that's all. Thank you for watching. Bye.